Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt's adopted son Pax, 19, called his father a world-class A***hole and despicable person who makes his 4 youngest children tremble in fear in explosive Instagram rant. Brad Pitt's son Pax called his father a world-class A***hole who makes his 4 youngest children tremble in fear in an explosive Instagram rant posted for Father's Day 2020, DailyMail.com can reveal. "You have made the lives of those closest to me a constant hell," Pax wrote. "You may tell yourself and the world whatever you want," he added, "but the truth will come to light someday." Then he sarcastically added, "So happy Father's Day, you F***G awful human being." Angelina Jolie adopted Pax from an orphanage in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, in 2007. He was 3 years old and had been dumped as a newborn by his heroin-addicted biological mother. Brad formally adopted him the following year. When Pitt, 59, and Jolie, 48, split in 2016, just 2 years after they had married in a private ceremony in France, the children stayed with their mother amid reports of an altercation aboard a private jet between eldest son Maddox and his father. Now it is clear that the relationship between Pax and Pitt is also troubled, with the 19-year-old accusing his dad of making his life hell in the extraordinary social media rant. Pax posted the broadside at Pitt to the stories section of his private Instagram account when he was 16. He accompanied it with a photo of Brad receiving an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 4 months earlier. A source has confirmed the private account does belong to Pax. It's the account he uses for friends from school mostly. He never says much about his parents, keeps himself to himself, so that was unusual. Pax did not say if there was a specific event that had set him off or whether it was a culmination of years of tension. In his post, Pax called his adoptive father a world-class A***hole, adding, "You time and again prove yourself to be a terrible and despicable person. You have no consideration or empathy toward your 4 youngest children who tremble in fear when in your presence. You will never understand the damage you have done to my family because you're incapable of doing so." Although Pax was the 3rd child, after brother Maddox and sister Zahara, that Jolie adopted, he is 1 year older than Zahara. The 4 youngest children, who he claimed Pitt made tremble, would be Zahara, now 18, and the couple's 3 biological children, Shiloh, 17, and 15-year-old twins Knox and Vivian. Jolie and Pitt met on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith in 2005 while he was still married to Jennifer Aniston. They insisted at the time that there was no infidelity, but after a picture emerged of them on a beach in Kenya with Maddox, Aniston filed for divorce. Their divorce was finalized in 2019, and although Jolie initially had full custody of the children, an agreement was thrashed out in 2021 that allowed Pitt to have them 50% of the time. But shortly afterwards, John Ouderkirk, the judge in charge of the case, was revealed to have close business relationships with Pitt's lawyers. As a result, he was disqualified from the case and custody was returned to Jolie, with Pitt allowed custodial visits only. Pitt was also investigated by the FBI and the Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services over child abuse allegations following the alleged altercation with Maddox on a private jet 5 days before Jolie filed for divorce. Maddox is said to have stood up for Jolie during a fight between his parents. A source later told People, Pitt had been drunk at the time, adding, "There was an argument between him and Angelina. There was a parent-child argument which was not handled in the right way and escalated more than it should have." Jolie told authorities Pitt had behaved like a monster on the jet. Pitt was subsequently cleared of all charges and has since quit both booze and smoking cannabis, and was photographed attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings in September 2016. Although neither Pitt nor Jolie have ever spoken publicly about the incident, Jolie told Vogue in 2021 that she had dumped Pitt for the well-being of her family. She added, "It was the right decision. I continue to focus on their healing. Some have taken advantage of my silence, and the children see lies about themselves in the media, but I remind them that they know their own truth and their own minds. In fact, they are 6 very brave, very strong young people." The couple are still involved in a contentious $350 million battle over Chateau Miraval, the vineyard they bought in France. Jolie sold her half to a subsidiary of Jolie Group after the plane incident because, her lawyers said, she was uncomfortable being involved in the sale of alcohol. In a filing this summer, she called her ex a bully who acted emotionally, irrationally, and ultimately illegally over the vineyard. He accused her of staging a hostile takeover of the business. Pax remains close to his mother and has been seen with her in New York, where she has been staying while creating her new Atelier Jolie line. He has now graduated from high school, choosing to skip the graduation ceremony to avoid paparazzi. Earlier this year, it was reported that he had become an artist, creating work under the pseudonym Imto, but the Page 6 story turned out to be a hoax. DailyMail.com reached out to Angelina and Pax's representative for comment but received no response. Brad's rep declined to comment. Instead of a stereotypical Father's Day Instagram post for his father, Pax Jolie Pitt allegedly decided to take a different approach. The adopted son of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt reportedly took to the social media platform and did not hold back in 2020. On his Instagram story at the time, the now 19-year-old is said to have posted a photo of Brad receiving an Oscar for his role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Around the photo, Pax is said to have posted a lengthy rant dedicated towards the Fight Club actor. Happy Father's Day to this world-class A*E. You time and again prove yourself to be a terrible and despicable person, the post apparently read. You have no consideration or empathy toward your 4 youngest children who tremble in fear when in your presence. You will never understand the damage you have done to my family because you are incapable of doing so, it continued, according to snaps obtained by Daily Mail. Pax allegedly finished the scathing note with, "You have made the lives of those closest to me a constant hell. You may tell yourself and the world whatever you want, but the truth will come to light someday. So, happy Father's Day, UF*G awful human being." Angelina Jolie adopted Pax from an orphanage in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam in 2007 when he was 3 years old. His biological mother was addicted to heroin and left Pax in the orphanage when he was a newborn. A year later, Brad formally adopted Pax. The 4 youngest children who tremble in fear that Pax referenced would be the youngest of the Jolie Pitt bunch, Zahara, 18, Shiloh, 17, and twins Knox and Vivian, 15. The last 3 are Brad and Angelina's biological children, while Zahara was adopted by Angelina in 2005 from Awassa, Ethiopia. Zahara seems to hold anger against Brad as well. During a luncheon on Spelman College's Atlanta campus, she joined Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and dropped the Pitt from her last name. Angelina, Pax, and Maddox, the oldest of the adopted children, went to Atlanta, Georgia to celebrate. Her father was noticeably not there. Brad is reportedly dating a 26-year-old jewelry designer, Ines de Ramon. Angelina and Brad have been separated since 2016 and officially finalized in 2019. Brad was also investigated by the FBI and the Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services over allegations that a fight had escalated when Maddox stood up for his mother when Brad was reportedly drunk and yelling at her. Brad was cleared of all charges.